my name is Ron Kong, and I'm very privileged to be here with all of you. It's very exciting to see so many faces from all over the world, and very inspiring to hear about the progress we've made collectively on edge computing. Yeah, it's really great. I was very inspired by Chinbo and Richard's talks. I think that we talked the last time I was here in Linko was for Advantech's launch of WiseEdge. And so the campus has changed a lot since then. And you guys have really improved the building and the facilities and expanded a lot. But it's great to see that convergence. We talked a long time, right, about the convergence of IT and OT, right? And so it's really happening now, right, which is fantastic. And I'm here to maybe represent a bit more of the IT perspective, but it's really great to be able to partner with Advantech for so long, right? Advantech is both a customer and a really good partner and a vendor, I believe, to some of our facilities. And so we have a very strong strategic partnership. So I really appreciate being here. So just a little bit about myself. I'm accountable for what we call the Cloud and AI platform, or Azure, right? Which is our cloud platform together with our AI platform for all of Asia. So my accountability, my team covers, of course, Taiwan and Greater China, but also Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, India, Australia, and New Zealand. So it really is most of Asia. But I know we have friends from the Americas and EMEA here as well, so welcome. And I've been at the company now more than 23 years. So it's a privilege to be here, and let me get started. First, let me talk to you all about today how we believe cloud and AI technology will help edge computing and industrial manufacturing scale to new growth opportunities, right? Let me begin by sharing kind of the vision behind Microsoft in terms of our AI offering. First and foremost, Microsoft has been working on artificial intelligence, right, AI, for more than 30 years. We've invested very deeply in our research group, and some of the achievements we've made is Microsoft Research and Microsoft Technology was the first vendor in the world to reach human translation parity, for example, for machine translation, both in terms of text and in speech, right? And of course, famously, we partner strategically with OpenAI on generative AI, right? So I think we were very strategic and quite lucky also that Satya, our CEO, and Kevin Scott, our CTO, invested in a very small startup 7 years ago when they were only like 5 people, right? We invested $1 billion in OpenAI, and that strategic partnership has really paid fruits for us. But it shows, importantly, like Advantech, Microsoft has always worked with partners, right? For our entire 50-year history, Microsoft has grown up with partners. And so we partner with OpenAI, but I want to emphasize on this slide, OpenAI is very important to us, but it's only one of the models, the AI models, the LLMs that we provide, right? In fact, we just announced at our developer conference about a month ago that we are now providing more than 1,900 models via Azure. So in addition to OpenAI, Llama, Hugging Face, you name it, we're adding Grok AI, right? We were the first global vendor to make DeepSeek available on our platform, right? So DeepSeek is available on Azure as well. More importantly than model choice, because what we've discovered is for different scenarios, different models might work better, for example, in a lot of edge computing, small language models, right, like R5, 4, 5, 3.5, are the ones that are going to combine with your large language models in the cloud to work together. So the model choice is important, but more importantly, we provide, we believe, the most comprehensive suite of offerings to the entire industry, right? So what do I mean by that? For example, most of you, I hope, are using Microsoft 365 every day, right? Most of your employees are probably, that's the number one productivity and collaboration set of solutions in the world. Well, introducing AI agents and copilots, you want to do it in a way that is integrated into the existing workflows, right? And the existing behaviors of all your people. So we have a really strong value proposition in that the copilot agents that we develop or that you develop as part of our services are integrated into the tools your people already use today. In addition to that, behind that, of course, the platform that I'm accountable for in Azure, right, we provide a tool set that we call AI Foundry. Think of AI Foundry as the app server for the AI era, right? If you want to develop AI applications, AI Foundry is the best and most comprehensive set of tools. For example, AI Foundry will automatically, for your scenario and your application, test which are the most optimized and efficient models that you should be using out of the 1900 that we provide on Azure. AI Foundry will also have security, compliance, and responsible AI processes and rules built into the tool set itself. For example, it will automatically check for hallucination, right? We know that generative AI, when you ask it a question that it doesn't know the answer to, has a tendency to make up a very logical sounding answer. This sounds scary, by the way, until you realize that people do the same thing, right? Have you ever asked an employee and they don't know the answer and they start making, like, they make something up on the spot, right? Well, there you go. So you have to have ways to check that for both your people and for AI. We build that directly into the tool set, right? You can change those policies and compliance rules based on the needs of your customer or your own company, okay? So this is sort of the vision for Microsoft. The thing that we do is partner very closely with our friends, right? Because you know an awful lot more about industrial manufacturing than we do. I will still try my best. We do have a lot of partners, like Advantech, right, that we work with on a deep basis. And earlier, Chumbo referenced, right, Industry 4.0. And so you see the progression, we've seen it, frankly, right? Since WiseEdge launched many, many years ago, the progression the industry has made. And we went from basic fragmentation to automation, but frankly, we're still in a state, right, today, where a lot of data in a lot of industrial manufacturing companies is still very solid. And I was glad to see the emphasis on data and containers in Richard's talk, because why? An AI algorithm is like a really, really, really bright 6-year-old child. And you need data to educate that child, right? If you have a child that's like 6 years old, they can basically learn anything, right? Languages, math, chemistry, you name it, history. But if you don't send them to school and they don't learn those things, when they grow up to be a 25-year-old, can that person contribute? Can they do anything of value? Not really, right? Their potential was wasted. The same thing with AI algorithms. Without the appropriate data to train your algorithms, your AI applications don't get any smarter, right? So a lot of folks may spend a lot of time and energy building fancy AI applications only to discover that they don't have the right data set or the data in the right model, in a common data model, to be able to reason against. This is where I think Advantech, right, and all of you have a real advantage, because you're living on the edge, literally, and collecting that data is super important, right? And that's where you can combine the power of edge computing and edge AI with the cloud. So this is, I think, the real promise that we have together. And this is very real, right? What we find in industrial manufacturing, right, this is from industry analysts, 70% of you get stuck at the POC, right, at the pilot. We run a pilot, it seems to work well, but then how do we get to production? However, when we do get to production, if you look at this side of the slide, the benefits are clear. Reducing your costs, increasing profitability, inventing new business models, right? That's the promise of working together that we want to fulfill with you. Now, we would argue, and I'm glad to partner with Advantech on this, because if you have an intelligent, adaptive cloud that allows you to stretch across the entire stack, right? From the ground up, from the very edge, all the way, right, from devices and machines to the compute to the cloud. That's actually the real power, I think, of Microsoft and Wise Edge, right, working together as a solution. That's the promise of it. What are the benefits of working together? Well, if you take this hybrid, right, edge and cloud approach, and in Chinese at least, we call it 云端服务, right? It is literally in Chinese here in Taiwan the cloud plus edge platform, right? Very appropriately, I think. So the benefits are clear, right? Centralized management and security, secured across the entire stack. Consistent app development, right? Richard talked about this. This is containers, if you haven't been working with them already, containers and container services are really the modern way to develop applications. Why? Because it allows you to run your app in a container on any platform, basically. Right? It's very helpful to you. It allows you to unify the compute, the storage behind it. It saves you money, and it allows you to modernize your app very quickly. The other thing that I talked about, the unified data foundation. Right? Here we provide a service that we call Fabric. Right? We would argue that this is the data platform designed for the AI era. Why do I say that? It is something that combines the power of what we call a data lake and a data warehouse. In the past, there were different kinds of databases, and you could get either infinite storage or really flexible storage, but not both. But Fabric allows you to do both with a common data model and behind it unified compute. What that means is, in the past, you had to run separate VMs, separate virtual machines, separate compute instances, right? For your storage, for your data analytics, for your data visualization, for every part of your data journey. It turns out that you very rarely have to run compute at the same time for all of those workloads. What Fabric does is it creates one platform for all of those needs so that you save on the compute. Most customers that are using Fabric for their AI applications find that they are able to save 60 to 70% on their costs on compute. Okay, so those are huge advantages. Plus, I think fundamentally at the bottom, you see, very importantly for all of you, right? Because you work on the edge, you have real capital investments, like real devices. Well, the good news is Adaptive Cloud, our AI cloud, working together with Advantech, it allows you to take advantage of your existing investments. Okay? So, very specifically, what do I mean by the Adaptive Cloud? Really, if we sort of think about it, right, it's everything kind of in the middle here combined with the cloud interface on the right side of the slide. So at the platform level, it's our development tools, right? I mentioned AI Foundry, which is our app server for the AI age. It's about our Azure IoT, AI IoT services, right? It's about the hybrid services we provide, like Arc, and also hybrid meaning crossing on-premises investments with the cloud, right, and joining them together. And then also our Fabric, right, data platform. On the right is what I mentioned in terms of the user interfaces that your people in general, right, all workers and employees and users around the world are most used to. What are they? Microsoft 365, Teams, right? So we really think of our Copilot and the Copilot agents as kind of the user interface for AI. Right? That's sort of the way we think about it. Remember, AI is not useful unless it can reason across the right data. It's also not useful if your people don't have access to it, right? If they're not able to use the tools in a natural way. Okay? So I borrowed Advantech's slide. They talked about Wise Edge and the sort of three levels. And what we did was the three sort of blue horizontal layers are where we think Microsoft can contribute unique value, right? At the top, in terms of the Copilot, right, that's the user interface. In the middle, in terms of the data platform, At the fundamental level, the SLM, right? I talked about the small language models at the edge. That, of course, and the heart of it, right? The AI Foundry to develop new AI applications. Okay? That was a lot. I know I went through a lot very quickly. Hopefully it was helpful to all of you. I know all of you will get the slides, right? And I'm happy to represent Microsoft and answer any questions. The other thing I want to talk about very quickly, it's not a theoretical exercise. This is a real case study. This is a real customer whose name I've anonymized. It's a very large industrial manufacturing company, headquartered in Switzerland. There's a real case study online if you want to find it. You can find it, right? They've developed a very similar approach using our AI agentic services to develop AI agents for industrial manufacturing. It's quite compelling, actually, if you look at some of the benefits they've had, right? Their customers are saving up to 35%, which in operations and manufacturing, that's a lot, right? They're saying 20% improvement. We talked about ESG, in energy and emissions, 80% decrease in customer service calls, right? So the benefits are real. This is not some sort of theoretical thing. This is happening right now, right? With tons of our customers in Asia and around the world. Okay, it's a real privilege to be with all of you. Thank you all very much. Hope you have a great couple of days today together.